Well, like many people, you might be worried about the vagaries of the property market at the moment. Are prices going up? Are they going down? Is there going to be a crash? Are we all going to lose our money? What you really need is some advice on how to best protect yourself from any fluctuations. Well, here's a really big tip. Invest in places where other people are already investing their money. And by that, I mean outside sources. For instance, here in Alveston, in Derby, there is a huge regeneration plan going on. 4 million quid is being poured into a local shopping centre. That has got to be good news. So I'm seeing a £68,000 mid-terrace, 3-bedroomed. It's already ticking my boxes. And it's double glazed with a new front door. So far, so good. So what have we got? Well, pretty classic terrace layout, straight into the front room, and immediately quite dated, sort of 1980s kind of feel to it. Blimey, fireplace about to fall to pieces. I don't want to take that out, it's pretty horrible. Open fire though, which is nice to see. And reasonable height ceilings. Bit of a surprise. House goes way, way, way back. Sort of like a rear sitting room here, and wow, lots of clutter. Interesting point here, when you buy a house, once you complete, everything that's in the house is yours. Any furniture, in this case, piles of other people's rubbish. Well, it may be rubbish, it may not. You'd be surprised what you can get on some of the internet auction sites for what somebody's left you here as a bit of a gift. On the other hand, it could end up just being left and dumped in a skip. But a kitchen here, it's a big size, clearly. It's not in a very good state and you'd want to work on improving this big time. Another bit of a negative, at the back there, the only loo and bathroom in the property, so you have to go through the kitchen to get to it. Having said that, that is kind of expected for terraces like this. What is slightly less acceptable is the fact that, I'm not sure, it feels to me like the floor's sloping. Whoa, 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 look at that. This rear courtyard area here is kind of really undulating. I'm immediately thinking there's some problems going on here because you've got this drainage cover here. It looks to me like all this land is kind of like all over the place, which I think, if I look a bit closer, can you see that? If you look up there towards that upper window, the whole house looks like it's been it's all out of kilter, basically. That isn't good news. It's probably coming from some problems with the drains, which is flooding this land, causing the house to actually slip down here. You have got, potentially, that dreaded thing, subsidence. Needs to be checked out by somebody who knows what they're talking about. Get a structural surveyor along before you buy this one. In fact, by asking the neighbours a few questions, I discovered broken drains may not be the only culprit. According to the locals, a river runs under some of the houses in the street. It causes some cellars to flood and isn't great for foundations. On the plus side, it doesn't look like the damage is recent, but it's definitely worth checking. What about the rest of the house? Well, upstairs there are 3 bedrooms. So, good-sized double bedroom on the front of the property, another good-sized double bedroom on the back. However, the 3rd bedroom isn't ideal because to get to it, you have to come through this bedroom. Really, that is not acceptable at all. I think I'd try and put in some kind of a corridor here. I mean, it's not a big job to do, but a stud partition up there, and at least you've then separated out these bedrooms, because at the moment, that's not good. So there are some issues here. There's potential subsidence and a strange layout upstairs. Central heating will have to be installed, along with a new kitchen and bathroom, and a general upgrade throughout. But it was guided at just £68,000, so potentially a good buy? Well, can the auctioneer who sold the house tell us about it?
Property has become vacant recently. It's been tenanted for some time by a member of the owner's family, and since he decided he no longer needed to live here, the owner decided to sell it by auction.
Does the fact that it was rented out before mean that's the best financial option here?
There's always some market resistance to property around here on the sales market. In other words, in other areas of Alveston, you would get probably £10,000–15,000 more for exactly the same property. This would go on the market when it's renovated at around £90,000. It's an area which would rent out fairly readily. You should be able to achieve a rent around £425 a calendar month.
Well, you know, nothing's ever perfect. I'm a bit worried about that potential subsidence in the house, and also I think you really need to deal with that bedroom upstairs that you have to access through the other bedroom. Having said that, 68,000 quid, I'm sure it got a lot of interest at the auction.
Lot number 5 is 33 Commerce Street. These are good potential rented properties, ladies and gentlemen, at the right price. Lot number 5. Where do you want to be on this one? Start me on this at 75, 75, 72, 72, 70,000 for Commerce Street. 70,000 here, thank you, at £70,000. 71 across the way at 71,000. 71, 72 is bid at 72,000. 73, 73, 72 bid seated. 73 at 73,000. 74 now. 74 at £73,000. 74 is bid at 74. 75, 75, £74,000 in the centre. 75 quickly somewhere else at £74,000 for the first time. At 74,000 for the second time. Third and last chance, all done at £74,000. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, can't sell at 74, so I'm withdrawing that lot. But it is for sale, and if you're interested, please come and speak with us.
If you change your mind.
With the property failing to reach its reserve price, it was now up to someone to step in and take a chance. And that man was David. He lives locally and got the house for £75,000, even though he never knew he wanted it. What happened there?
I was bidding on an earlier property which I pulled out of, and the auctioneer's assistant said that a similar property hadn't sold, and said if I was to bid a certain amount for it, it would be mine.
So they came and sought you out?
Came and tapped me on the shoulder, yeah.
Blimey. And did you know anything about the property?
I had driven past the property in the morning, so I knew it from the outside. I hadn't seen inside. So I rang my son, asked him to do a search on the internet to see what properties had sold in the street, and it was a good price, so.
I'm glad that David did do some research before parting with 75,000. But still, this really isn't an approach I'd recommend, and David had to wait 21 days before he could finally even see inside. So, what did you think when you walked through the door?
I was pleasantly surprised, yeah. I was surprised how big it was and the condition, really. The exterior's fine, apart from the possible problem with the subsidence, but I think that's historical and I don't really see that as a problem, so I think everything's very good, I think.
I think David's done all right here. However, buying a property you haven't inspected and which didn't reach its reserve price is a big risk. But David seems confident about his purchase, even though he's not a property developer.
I've worked for myself for 17 years, got a kitchen and bathroom supply and fit company, so obviously in the trade we can do most of the things ourselves, so it's not too much of a gamble.
So you're not a builder per se, but you
I'm not, but I have friends who work for themselves who are, so we all help ourselves out, so we can do anything.
And it's that background that's clearly given him the confidence to take this on. With his skills, he's well suited to property renovation. After all, what's the first thing people usually need to do? It's the kitchens and bathrooms. What are you going to do with this kitchen?
Totally gut it out, replace the flooring with new tiles, probably put a beach or cream shaker in. Same bathroom, new suite. Don't think we'll put a shower cubicle in. I don't think the property really warrants spending too much.
So how much will the kitchen cost?
I can certainly get everything for under £1,000 for that.
Really? What do you mean everything?
Oven hob, extractor, units, worktop.
Wow. Well, I suppose that's one of the...
Know where to get them from.
Yes, you do. That doesn't include fitting them, of course, but...
I can get that done very cheaply.
Your men who do.
Well, me.
Yeah, OK. You'll be doing. And will you be very hands-on with this?
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, I'll be doing most of it.
Along with some replastering and new central heating, he plans to alter the layout upstairs to put in a new corridor between the two bedrooms. So it will be a pretty comprehensive refurbishment. How much do you think you'll spend?
I would think a maximum of 10,000, I would have thought.
And timescales?
Hopefully 6 weeks.
Oh, right.
As long as other work that we're doing goes to schedule.
But you've got a team of people who you can swoop in here, have you?
There's 2 or 3 of us that we can, yes.
And what's the idea? It's a bigger picture.
Well, if it's successful, I think if we can do a couple a year along with the other kitchen and bathroom work, that'll be fine.
David seems to have it well sorted. He's not being over-ambitious as he has the skills and contacts to get the work done. He can keep costs down because he will do what are usually the two most expensive rooms cheaply. It should be a good, solid scheme for him. Well, how about that? Not only did David not know he was going to buy this place, he didn't actually ask to buy it. Somebody asked him if he wanted to. But he's certainly well qualified to turn this place round. Question is, will he do it in the timescale? He has got his main business that he's running, 6 weeks. That's going to be tight. How's he going to get on? You can find out later in the show. In the Alveston district of Derby, a 3-bedroom semi was eventually bought for £75,000 by David after a little negotiation with the auction house.
I was bidding on an earlier property which I pulled out of, and the auctioneer's assistant said that a similar property hadn't sold and said if I was to bid a certain amount for it, it would be mine.
David owns his own kitchen and bathroom fitting business. He just wanted to supplement his income by developing property and using his own skills and the contacts he's made over the years. And he's confident he could fix up anything, even a house he'd never been inside. So, 10 weeks later, was that confidence well-founded? Inside, the front room and dining area haven't exactly gone through a massive change. But there is a new central heating system. But what about David's area of expertise, the kitchen? Wow, that really has come along, as he explains.
Same layout as it was when we originally bought the house, but we've decided to put some nice new units in. In the end, we decided to go for integrated appliances because we think it'll be more desirable.
Of course, David not only fits kitchens, he also does bathrooms.
With the bathroom, we decided that it was probably too big. So we started to move walls about and found a bee's nest in the ceiling, which was a bit of a delay. We got a nice man to come and remove it. Restructured the walls, which has made the utility area larger, and the bathroom still fine size, and put a new shower in.
Creating that utility area is a good idea, but the disadvantage is that the bathroom is still downstairs. But David felt that keeping 3 bedrooms was more important than moving the bathroom. Even so, the layout upstairs was far from ideal.
Originally, when you came to the top of the stairs, you came to a very large double bedroom, which led straight through to the rear bedroom. What we've done is put a corridor in, which has left a nice sized double and made the rear a lot more private.
This layout makes much more sense. It particularly improves the rental potential, with all 3 rooms now rentable. So David has solved one of the problems with the house. But 2 more potential worries were the uneven floors and signs of subsidence.
Well, as you can see, we had quite a slope on the floor, and what we've done in the rear room here, I've levelled the joists through, which has made the floor level in this room, but has had the benefit of levelling the kitchen ceiling as well.
All the evidence points to the subsidence being historic and not a current problem. So David levelled the floors throughout with concrete downstairs and timber upstairs. With no hidden nasties apart from the bees, he's been able to do the majority of the work himself.
The budget's gone very well. We spent slightly more on the kitchen than we thought we would, but generally everything's gone well, and if we take my wages out of the scheme, we're probably below £9,000. So if I don't pay myself a lot, we're under budget.
Will a cut in wages help David earn a profit? It's up to 2 local agents to decide. Remember, David paid £75,000 for the house and £10,000 on refurbishment and costs, so his total spend should be less than £90,000. What do the experts think of his hard work?
I think the main selling point of the property is going to be the kitchen. As soon as you walk in, that's what hits you.
I think the kitchen looks extremely good. Probably you could say it's a bit too good if you're simply going to rent it out, but it's very impressive.
The bathroom and utility room do work really well. It's not the most popular thing to have a bathroom on the ground floor only, but it is finished to a very high standard and it's nice to have a utility room.
I don't think there's much point in putting this on the market to sell it because you won't get the right price right now. So I think it's a rental prospect. It needs to be rented out for 6, 12, maybe 18 months until the market improves. Then it'll just need a quick coat of paint, freshen it up, and it should be good.
So, following this advice to rent it out until the market recovers, how much would David earn from his newly renovated property?
If we were to rent this property out, I think that we'd be looking at £450 per calendar month.
On a rental basis, I would expect it to achieve about £475 a calendar month.
£475 a month would generate around £5,700 a year, or around 6% yield. Is that enough to persuade David to hang on to it and wait for a change in the market?
I'm quite surprised at that. I think 475 might make me think again. That sounds very good.
While rental seems the most likely option, David's still interested in knowing if his £90,000 investment is looking good. How much would the house be worth currently?
On today's market, it would go on at about £95,000 with a view to achieving £92,000 or more.
If we were to put this property up for sale, we'd be marketing it at around £100,000.
I like the sound of the 100,000. But yeah, I mean, that's what they sell for in the area from the research I've done.
At the moment, he still hasn't made a definite decision whether to sell or rent, but either way, it looks like a fairly sound investment. Would you do it again?
It's been very enjoyable. It's nice when you're not actually working for somebody, working for yourself, so you can sort of do as you please without worrying what they're going to think.
David took the plunge and believed that he had enough building skills to do the renovation. He normally works for others, but this time the demanding client he had to please was none other than himself, and he should be delighted with a job well done.